This is Team Racer Bart with Sail Wars today, coming to you from West Virginia, where I am going to interview the world champion of the Almost Any Boat Regatta. And I have so many questions for him because if you guys watched all the races, you would see I did not have a good day. And I had a lot of stuff to overcome. But I want to get inside of this man's mind, Walter House, who beat all these different types of great boats and did a fantastic job, just incredible job today. So, what do you think about your victory?
It's pretty satisfying. There's some very good sailors there. So, to beat Danny and Ramos and Jarl and the like, that's satisfying.
You notice he didn't put me in there. So
those are all national champions.
That's true. I did notice, I went through the list of sailors, and really I thought there was only about 3 out of the 17 that it would be challenging for them to place in the top 3. Everybody else, it was wide open. It was, that group of talent was very high. So going in, like before the day started, what type of wind were you preparing for?
3 to 5.
3 to 5? And so was there anything special you did to your IOM?
No, it's pretty much made for that wind speed. I mean, it's older, it's a Top Pico, and it's really made for ponds, light air. It's not made for big water. So I was, light air, I felt good.
Now, going into that race, I was very confident with the US 1 meter because the previous year I had beat, 2 IOMs in that competition. And so when I saw Walter, he signed up with an IOM, I was a little bit worried because I remember that boat did win the Canadian Championship, right? Very accomplished boat.
My boat, the
Yes.
black boat, actually it's won a lot. It's won a lot of things. It actually placed 9th in the world at one point.
So
I didn't sail it.
I figured if any boat, IOM could do it, that would be one of them. So what classes or class of boat did you really think would be like your main competition going in?
Well, I mean, I knew the stars. Seeing Dave there with the star, I was certainly, concerned there.
The Star 45,
Star 45.
And explain why.
It just has such a big mainsail. And if the wind comes up to maybe 6 or 7 knots, it's a formidable boat. It's fast.
Okay. And of course, Jarl being the returning champion from the previous year, the EC12 had to be one of the boats you were fearing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think overall boat speed EC12 is as quick as the ILM. After it gets going, it's longer, so it hull length gives you more boat speed theoretically. But it's very heavy, and so it has momentum on its side. But in light air, it's hard to get them going, and it takes a long time to recover after you tack. Where the IOM, you're on the next tack instantly and moving. So, and you can accelerate from nothing to hull speed within maybe 2 boat lengths of the boat, where the EC12 is not the case. So, smaller course, lighter air. I really didn't think the boat itself was that big of a threat, but Jarl's an excellent sailor, so.
And when I looked at the sign-up list and I saw that Scott Graff and Dave Ramos, who are very, very good sailors, they had signed up with Star 45s. And you took second last year with the Star 45. I kind of felt like they were maybe going to be the ones most likely to upset Jarl. At what point in the competition did you feel like you had a chance of winning the whole thing?
Actually, I didn't think I was very surprised. I thought it was like maybe third place.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So right up to the end, you were giving it your all because you didn't know what the scores were. Because the scores were not released until the very end.
Yeah, I was surprised to find out that I won. I had no idea. So it was just, consistent. You had no throwouts. So it was a matter of just sailing clean and doing the best you could,
And you won the drag race, which was very surprising.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that myself.
What was your strategy for the drag race?
Well, it's not that long of a leg, and it's downwind. Theoretically, it turned into a reach and then a beat.
Right. So from the side, the wind was coming.
So I was on the favorable end of the line, and it turned into a reach. I hit the line at 0, and I quickly was on top of the rest of the fleet, and then it turned into an attacking match. And so I was able, being in front of the fleet, I was able to attack in front of the fleet, and from there, Danny almost ran me down, but not quite. So.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I was one of the last boats in the drag race, and I felt like the US 1 meter I was using, that was its strong points. It was extremely fast when the wind was behind it. And 30 seconds before that race started, the wind shifted from the back to the side,
right.
And that wasn't that boat's strength. So I went from feeling like I was going to win to it collapsed. So Sophie has joined us, this beautiful little dog, and she wants to get in on the interview. So I'm kind of curious. Okay, there was 10 races overall. Was there any time that you got tangled up with anyone?
No. My worst was maybe the third from last race. I missed a really far noodle and went halfway towards the finish line before I realized that I didn't make the mark. So that hurt me pretty bad. That was a bad race for me, but I did not get tangled up with anybody.
Oh, so and this is something else I was wondering, because I always replay in my head things I could have done better, and it seemed like to me I was always in a mess, always blanketed by bigger sailed boats and getting into wrecks, collisions. So how did you steer clear? Did you stay upwind of everyone? Did you try to?
I was with that many boats and different boat speeds, and they accelerate differently, whatnot, and also experience level. I just try to stay clear of everybody, look for holes all the time, especially when it starts. Just try to make my space. So so that was my concentration on starts. Then the rest of the race just played out how it did. So.
And that was something I thought about was before before the races, if I could get a good start and get out into the clean air, it would be a big advantage. But that only happened in one race. So you said you looked for a hole. So before the start, were you thinking about being directly across from the first mark you had to go to, or was it just about being in clean space?
The favorable side of the line was very long, so you certainly want to be at the favorite end. That changed, consistently. Because the wind shifted a lot during the racing. So, but yeah, it's just about making space and being on the favorite end of the line, and also looking to see what boats you're around. If I'm sailing next to Jarl, I have a different confidence level than I would sailing next to the new guy.
Right, because
I don't know what they're going to do. I know what Jarl is going to do. So,
right, he's going to try to avoid a collision, whereas a couple of the newer people, right,
they may not know to get out of the way, or what rights are theirs or not. So there's So, I look at sale numbers, I look at boats to see who I'm up next to, near on the course.
And so, just so our viewers know, Walter is on a streak. He won the Maryland State Championships for the DF65. He's very accomplished in other classes. He's an expert when it comes to the Vic, and now he's the world champion. And next month, he has the regionals for the DF65 coming up, and I'm the defending champ, two-time champion. I'm going to take you down to this one. All in good fun, of course. But let's get back to the yesterday's almost any boat regatta. Was there anything that you would have done differently than you did? I mean, because you were very impressive. I think you got, 4 bullets? 3 or 4?
I'm not sure. I think 3 for sure. I'm not sure about the 4. Yeah. I think 3.
That's pretty impressive considering the talent level. I mean, you could have looked at that list out of the 17 sailors, and you could have had 13, maybe 14 sailors that could have won any of those races. So you would have done nothing differently.
Not that I can think of. I mean, nothing sticks out.
Yeah.
Maybe not missed that mark on that race, but other than that.
Yeah. So was there anyone that you thought overachieved?
I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on that. I'm not really sure. Opposite of that, I mean, I thought the Marblehead would smoke us all. I really did, but that wasn't quite the case.
I think he finished above me. I remember that. So yeah, he did do well. But the first year can be a new experience for someone. If you've never raced in a group of boats that are all different sizes and felt the acceleration when you hit that starting line and you're trying to avoid all these different things, it's quite incredible, and it really does task the sailor, right? A lot of pressure at the start, especially. And if you fall behind, it's an uphill battle, right?
Particularly with the shorter races, you don't have a lot of water, to make up for any mistake or any wind shift or bad tack, so you got to make good decisions all the time.
So who did you think underachieved in that?
Okay, that was the Marblehead. I thought the Marblehead should have just waxed the floor with all of us, but he just built the boat. I mean, literally just built the boat like yesterday or something.
There was actually 2 Marbleheads this year, right? You had Kyle Russell and George. He had his boat, and both of those guys are real good sailors and have accomplished a lot. So yeah, you actually had 2, and they both actually did really well. Like I said, if you finished in the top 10, I think that was quite the accomplishment. It was brutally hard, I can tell you from first person. If you made a mistake, right, it was really hard to come back. Besides missing that mark, was there any mistake you made that you learned from?
I made other mistakes. Not so sure I learned anything from them, but I definitely made mistakes. In tactics, I got on the wrong side of the line a couple times, and watched the fleet sail away, and that's never a fun feeling.
So this is probably a lot of viewers are wondering this. Okay, with so many boats with real big sail areas, how close did you feel comfortable sailing next to these bigger boats?
I had no issues at all. The ILM is very, very nimble, so I didn't have a problem with. I can juke out and I can make moves that the bigger boats can't make. So if you were never an issue for me.
If you were sailing right next to them, like you felt comfortable right up next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's pretty good, because it seemed like every time I did that, all the wind would go away and my boat would collapse. So yeah, and the IOM's it's not a light boat. It's not a super heavy boat either, right? So very nimble.
Yes, it's very nimble, very quick. tacks much quicker than EC12 or most of the boats that were on the course. I mean, big main on the Star, it takes a little while to get it around and get it up to speed. So, yeah, I didn't have any problem sailing. Now, crossing is another story. EC12 weighs a whole lot more than my ILM does, so you don't want to get broadsided. But
So did you feel better about your sailing in the shorter races or the longer races?
Longer races. I'm not a short race fan. And we could have done 2 laps. I would have really liked to have done 2 laps, but the speed differential between the smaller boats, it was just too much. It'd be too confusing. People wouldn't know what lap they were on. So,
right. And the reason there's 3 short races is to possibly give the smaller boats some advantage, right? Because they can tack quicker and such, and sometimes accelerate faster. So, is there anything about the regatta that you really loved?
Just the camaraderie, just the experience. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. A lot of people sitting around talking, right, getting to know each other, and so much talent there.
It was very low tension. It wasn't like it was a regional green chevron event, that kind of thing. It was, like you said, it was for fun.
Yeah, we're going to try to keep doing this every year and bring the best sailors in, and it's quite the thing, and I'm sure they're going to push me right down the ladder every year. Anything else you would like to add?
No, just enjoy myself. You got a good venue. It's not friendly for the taller keels, but it's a nice park.
Yeah, just so everyone knows that it was a task with the long keels because the water level was so low. It's probably the lowest I've ever seen it there. Normally it's about a foot deeper, but they just hadn't had that much rain out there at that lake. But all the food was great. The volunteers were great. It was just an incredible regatta. One of the best I've ever seen and been to. It was really neat. So if you want to experience a world-class competition and a friendly atmosphere, that is the regatta to sign up for next year. So, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And congratulations, our new world champion, Walter House. Please subscribe and hit like for more videos. Sail Wars thanks you for liking, subscribing, and sharing with your friends and family. Attention all club webmasters, Sail Wars needs your support. Please make it easy for your club members by putting a link to our homepage on your club's website. Thank you from Sail Wars team. And we have a YouTube homepage. When you go there, you'll find playlist. You can click on this link and it shows you all the videos, over 300. And of course, you can subscribe from that YouTube homepage. And check out the best of Sail Wars. Sail Wars is supported by you and our volunteers. Thank you. We are all about increasing participation in our sport. Also, please join a great club like the Northern Maryland Model Yacht Club. And of course, do more than what is expected in that club. We love the AMYA. Did you know that Sail Wars is the most watched and respected RC selling information site? A big thank you to our supporters. And did you know we've made over 300 videos and have racers all around the world? Join us as we spread the word about RC selling. By subscribing, it's free.
There's a dot?